Hey Josh and Jeff, here's my demo project that I made. I thought I'd do a video just because I feel like it would be a lot easier for me to explain how it works than explaining it in an email. Basically, it's a watch list data visualizer. So basically, for a lot of apps, finance apps or stock apps, watch lists kind of look like a list, kind of like this. So it's kind of boring. It doesn't really tell you about how these stocks relate to each other. It's usually just the price and how much they've changed for the day. So it's kind of boring. So I decided to try and make something that's a little more innovative and tells you a little bit more about your portfolio. So yeah, I'll start by signing up. And then it takes you to a profile. And then this is just like the base requirements that you guys send me. So yeah, you can upload a photo like that, and that goes to the S3. You can change your name. I'll just do my name. You can put a phone number in there, and you can choose a role, analyst, trader, investor. It doesn't really do anything, but it is there. Yeah, so you can save your changes. Boom, and then if you go to dashboard, this is basically the project. So down here, you can see a watch list, and this is just the default one that I made. And these are all the stocks that are displayed in this visualizer. Basically, there's something called the Pearson correlation coefficient. All that means is it looks at stocks and it mathematically calculates how similar they move in relation to one another. So I calculated the coefficient for all the stock pairs in a watch list. So for Apple, it'll literally compare Apple to all the other stocks, move on to Microsoft, and it'll calculate how correlated it is to each and every stock in your watch list. Basically, if you go to like Intel, for example, if the correlation is above 60%, it'll create this little connector to another stock. So you can see Intel has 4 connections. This one's 74% correlation. This one's 62, 61, and 78. So that's what these connectors are. And every stock in your watch list has this. Yeah. So that's what that is. I'm using a library for this graph. It's a pretty cool it has a pretty cool physics engine. So yeah. Basically, I'm also using AI analysis too. So these green bubbles are basically news related to the stock that Claude analyzed for me through their API. So I have this other API that I use to get stock news for each stock in the watch list. So literally for every stock, this API grabs like the latest 5 articles. I send that to Claude, and then he kind of summarizes it, and it shows you on the graph if the news is good or if the news is bad. So hovering over Amazon, you can kind of see Wells Fargo maintains overweight rating on Amazon while its new AWS strengthens long-term growth prospects. So that's a kind of summary of the news and why it's good. Some of the stocks are like gray. That's because their news is pretty neutral. Yeah, so only the red ones are what Claude deems like really bad news, and green is really good. And then everything in the middle is grayed out. So that's kind of what that is. Yeah, and then here are all the stocks in your watch list. Here are all the stocks in your watch list again, but you can kind of get a year history of every stock. So Amazon, Nvidia, just if you want to quickly check how well it's been doing for the year. Yeah. And then this is just the stock ticker, the price it's at right now. And this green number is the percentage change for the day. So Intel is up 3.3% for today. Yeah, basically the use case for this is if your portfolio is too correlated to one another, that's a really bad thing. So imagine I only had these stocks right here in my portfolio. They're so interconnected and so correlated to one another that when one of them goes down, the others will too. And that's bad because you're not diversified. Your risk isn't diversified at all. So having stocks like AMD, IBM, maybe an Intel can help diversify your portfolio because they're not correlated with one another. On the other hand, if you really want to invest into one sector, you can also use this to kind of see how, what stocks are really correlated with each other and kind of build it around that. Here are the strongest connections up top. Let's see. You can zoom in, and then the center view button just takes you back to the center. Here's the legend, and I think that's about it. Yeah, you can go to your profile again and edit all of this. So, yeah. I also want to demo real quick, just creating your own watch list. So instead of using the default one, you can create a new watch list here. I'll just call it test. You have to add 2 tickers before the graph can update. So let me think. Stocks that aren't in the default PPTA. I have a list here I'm just writing from. GDDY, STZ, L, LW, O. I don't know what any of these are, but yeah. Okay. Now this should be enough. You can see it hasn't pulled the data yet. So if you go up here to update graph, it should pull the data. And here you can see, PPTA is pretty strongly correlated to these 4 LW and GDDYs, kind of in their own world. Yeah. Oh, also the node size, depending on how many other nodes it connects to, that kind of determines the size. And then if you go to refresh all, this is what actually fetches the news for each stock. So they should be color coded. It takes a while. So yeah, PPTA, good news, always good news. Yeah. So yeah, and you can have the price history for all of them. So yeah, I think that's about it for my project. Let me know what you guys think. I know the demo video is pretty long, so yeah. All right, thank you.